Go ahead.
Guys, Carlo Filippone, your Muscle Chef here on Muscle Chef TV. Hey, first video ever. This was a long time coming, and no better time to do it than right now because it is Olympia weekend. They've already started the festivities down in Orlando, Florida. And guys, what a time to be there. I personally am going to miss it, but I'm going to pay attention to every single pay-per-view, and I'm going to watch what I think is going to be the most interesting Mr. Olympia ever. Why? Well, I'll tell you what. This year, it's fair game. It's open for anybody to go ahead and take it. Let's recap 2022. We had a guy named Hadi Choopan go in and win this. Okay, you had Derek Lunsford, who was a very close second. Some people thought he won. I personally had Hadi winning. But then you had Nick Walker, you had Brandon Curry, a former Mr. Olympia champion, and then you had Big Ramy, another former Olympia champion. And guys, that wasn't the norm. Former Mr. Olympias didn't usually lose, but they've lost, right? You have Brandon Curry, who's a former champion, and Ramy, who was a former champion, and both of them have lost. They have guys like Nick Walker, who are new, who took complete advantage of them being off, if you want to say, and moved up to third place. And then you had Derek Lunsford, who came up from the 212 division to finish second, and then Hadi Choopan, who was third in 2021, Mr. Olympia champion. So what is different about this year? Well, I'll tell you what's different. Back when I was competing, this would happen all of the time. All of the competitors would take a look at the competition and feel like, hey, I got this. There's people out there like the 5th and 6th and 7th, I'm sorry, not the 5th, the 6th and the 7th place finishers from 2022, who are who? Samson Dauda and Lila Brada, both who can win this thing. So you have 6th and 7th place finishers and 8th place Andrew Jack, who could come in and be Mr. Olympia this year. This wasn't always the case. This is such a unique Mr. Olympia that it's going to be amazing. So that's why everybody's going to watch this Mr. Olympia. So congratulations to the IFBB for doing a great job creating this curiosity, because inquiring minds want to know who the Mr. Olympia is going to be in 2023. So let me give you my list. First, I'm going to give you 3 dark horses. I don't expect these guys to make the top 6. They might not even make the top 10, but they'll be fighting for 7, 8, and 9, in my humble opinion. And that is Tonio Burton, Michael Krizo, and Regan Grimes. I think those 3 guys are going to be fighting to get into that top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if they're 7, 8, and 9, no particular order. In 6th place, I feel like Hunter Labrada is going to be in that position this year. I think he is on the cusp of being great. I just don't have faith that he's going to nail that conditioning. He's got a package, and he's got a great package. Would I be totally surprised if he won? No, I think he's got all of what you need. It's going to be a matter of whether he has enough and how he can compete with whoever's in that first call out. That's the interesting question here. Who's going to be in that first call out? So you have Hunter, who I believe is going to be in 6th. You're not going to like my pick if you're a Hadi Choopan fan, but Hadi Choopan, I think, is going to slip to 5th this year. Why? I'll tell you right now. I think the battle between 3rd and 4th is going to be between Andrew Jack and former Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry. What am I basing my picks on? Pictures of Brandon Curry have come out. He looks bigger than ever, rounder than ever. Why is that important? Because you might guess who my next 2 picks are going to be. Samson Dauda for 2nd place, and I think Derek is going to be Mr. Olympia this year. I think that Derek, even at his height, and some might call him vertically challenged, I think he's got the thickest, the densest, and the most complete package of any competitor on that stage. And if I know Hani Rambod, and I know him well, he's going to have him 100% conditioned. So why do you ask, is he going to beat Hadi Choopan, who he wasn't able to beat last year? It's a whole different ball game. Derek had just moved up to the Open last year. This year, he has a whole nother year of being big and working on that density. And what happens over a year is more separation. Just the ripple effect throughout his physique is going to be insane. He reminds me of a Ronnie Coleman shrunken down with the back development, the quad development. He's going to be very hard to beat, guys. So why Samson Dauda second? I just don't have the faith that Samson Dauda is going to be 1,000,000% dialed in like he needs to. I would beg to say, I will say, that if Samson Dauda was 100%, he's Mr. Olympia this year. But I think he's going to be a little bit off, and I think that leaves the door open for Derek to take it. Now, Andrew Jacked and Brandon Curry. Why is that important? Because I feel that Hadi Choopan is going to wind up behind Brandon Curry. Wherever Brandon Curry lands, Hadi Choopan's going to be right behind him. And how does that work? I'm going to explain to you how that works. It's very simple. Andrew Jacked is a bigger guy. If Andrew Jacked brings it at 100%, I still don't believe that he can beat a 100% Samson Dauda, and I don't think that he's got the size on his legs that he needs to beat a Derek Lunsford. So, if Samson is second and Andrew Jacked is third, then you can look at Brandon Curry fourth and Hadi Choopan fifth. If Brandon Curry is third, then Hadi Choopan will be fourth and Andrew Jacked will be fifth. Does it make any sense? I've judged the show or two before. I've never judged the Mr. Olympia, but I've judged local events and I've judged regional events, and I know what those judges are looking for. They want the most complete bodybuilder with the best conditioning and the best package. For my money, that's going to be Derek Lunsford. Now, special mention, 212 division. There's going to be a battle between my two Jersey homeboys, Sean Clarita and Kareth Bajau. One of those guys is going to be Mr. Olympia. Obviously, the favorite needs to be the returning Mr. Olympia, Sean Clarita. Either one of those guys, I think, is going to take it. I don't think that anybody else is going to be able to step between them. Kareth has made some great gains. And, of course, the Giant Killer himself, who has beaten some of the people who are in the open lineup. That's how good he is. So you have a nice battle there. Final mention, the IFBB Miss Fitness Olympia. My girl, Missy Truscott, all day. I think it's going to come down between Missy, Ariel Kader, and Whitney Jones. Whitney Jones has won 3 Miss Olympias. Missy has won 2. It's going to be quite the battle. And then, of course, you can never discount Ariel Kader. She's an amazing, fierce competitor who's been on the rise for a number of years. She's one of the top in the world. It's going to be an interesting battle, but I'm betting on Missy. Okay, guys, this is my first video ever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to tell you that it is sponsored by The Chicken Pound. If you don't know, now you know. It's my company. Full disclosure, full transparency. I think you guys are going to love that product. And if you decide to order, use the code MuscleChef or click on the link below. Enjoy the Mr. Olympia. I'll see you guys after the show.